Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be starting a brand new reading vlog. This one, the only book I know so far that's going to be included in this one is The Women. And this is a book by Kristen Hanna. It'll be my first Kristen Hanna book, but I'm so excited to read it. I've heard nothing but good things about Kristen Hanna and about The Women. I hear that her novels will pull at your heartstrings, make you cry, make you very emotional. And I've heard that The Women will do that, and I'm so excited. I love a good book that will make me feel stuff. I want to feel stuff. So I'm super excited. The Women, as far as I understand, is following this one girl who ends up going off to war with her brother. Her brother gets shipped off to Vietnam, and so she goes and she joins the nursing portion of that. There's a word for that. But I guess she ends up going, and then I think the story is really more about when they come home because of how people were treated after we came home from Vietnam and how people treated the soldiers. And I think that Kristen Hanna wanted to sort of explore how the nurses and the women were treated, not just the soldiers, because they tend to be forgotten. When we think about war, we tend to think about the soldiers versus the women who are in the nursing tents and things like that. So, super excited about this. This should be a topic that is very emotional, and then I hear Kristen Hanna does a really good job of making you emotional. So, I think that it will be fantastic. I cannot wait to read it. This is one of the books that was on my priority reads for the year, well, for the last part of the year. So, I'm super excited. I am almost done with that list. I think I've finished. What have I finished? I finished My Sister's Keeper, which I think was on it. My arm is really big up there. And then I have finished two of the four books from the Vancouver hockey books that I was reading. So those are done. And so I think all I have left is The Women and Gardens of the Moon and Last Argument of Kings. And I've already started Gardens of the Moon. And I think it's like a 26-hour audiobook, so it's not too bad. And so I can finish The Women and Gardens of the Moon before December even starts. And then I can do Last Argument of Kings in December and I can be done. Look at me. I am so proud. Normally, I have a hard time with TBRs, but I think giving me 3 months to do 5 books, I think that that's going to work. I think that's going to be the best thing. So, definitely going to continue that into the new year and see how next year goes, especially because I tend to get very ambitious with things. So, hopefully, I don't get overly ambitious and put like 1,000 page books on there because that will make everything really difficult. So, definitely excited, definitely proud because I have a hard time following through with things. And so, the fact that I'm almost done with that list is fantastic. But, anyways, welcome to the vlog. Okay, so I have no idea where I'm at with my vlogs. Listen, I am doing a hockey vlog, doing a general reading vlog, doing a Malazan vlog, and then I'm also doing a workout vlog for my fitness channel. So we have a lot happening, so I don't even remember where I last updated you, but I think that there's only been the initial intro for The Women. So I think that that's where I'm at. If I'm not, I apologize. Also, I also apologize for this lighting. I'm getting ready to go to the gym, and I didn't do my hair. I washed it and everything yesterday, but I didn't straighten it or anything. So it's a little wacky, and the lighting's a little bit weird, but oh well. We're gonna go with it because I need to update you. So here we go. Women. It's been interesting so far. We're following this girl Frankie, and her brother is being shipped off to Nam, and so she decides that she is going to go as a nurse. She ends up going Army since no one else will take her. Army is the only way that she can go. But she's grown up her whole life listening to her dad and her whole family talk about being a hero and all these things, and military is heroes and they're super well respected, and they honor the military so much. And so she wants to go and be a part of that. And so she ends up finishing nursing school and doing all these things, and then she's shipping out, right? Well, her entire family is so mad at her for that, especially because like she's a girl and she's not supposed to do that kind of thing, and they're just so mad. And so she ends up going, and it's rough. Like, it is rough on her. And Kristen Hanna does not shy away from the brutality of war. Like, we jump into the awfulness of it pretty quickly, and we see Frankie's reaction to that, and I think that that's fair. Like, that's probably going to be how all of us would be in that situation. Like, it is not an easy thing to jump into, especially when you don't feel super prepared for it. And so it's been really interesting watching her learn how to adjust to this new world that she is in. And she's made a couple of friends there that have been super helpful, and they have taken her under their wing, and they're trying to help her desensitize and build her skills, because like she's not very skilled. She has no clinical skills, and she's coming into war to help out with these like really tragic and severe wounds and injuries, and she's just in over her head. And so it's been good watching her get her feet up underneath her as she's like coming into her own here. And I don't know how long we're going to be in war. I don't know a whole lot about the Vietnam War. I think we learned about it in school, but just not very much. So I don't really know a whole lot, and I don't know how long we're going to be in this war experience in this book. Because from my understanding of the book, a lot of what we're discussing is their return home and how they got treated coming home. So I think we'll spend a good portion of the book home dealing with that kind of thing. So I can't wait to get there. I think that that'll be really interesting to see all those dynamics. But I'm enjoying it while we're here. I really like war. That sounds really demented. I like exploring that. I love stories that have like hard choices and hard things and people doing the hard thing, you know? And so I really I really like that. You know, and I really respect a lot of America, and I really respect like a lot of the military, and know that like I couldn't do that. Like, I don't have that personality to do that kind of thing. And so seeing other people who have that courage to go and do those types of things, I mean, it's incredible because I am not that person at all. I'm way too anxious. Way too anxious and way too don't know how to do anything. So, super interested in this book. And I hear that it's hard to like read, and like it'll make you cry and be all up in your feels, and I can't wait for that. I love being in my feels. So, looking forward to it. Okay, so I'm halfway through The Women, and it's pretty good so far. So far, all we've done is like the war stuff. We get Frankie's day to day life being over there in the war as a nurse, and all the casualties and all of those things, and just the horror of the war that she is going through. Like, this is insane. There are so many casualties and so many traumas that they are going through. I do love seeing her day to day because, like, we have no idea what happened over there in Vietnam. Like, no idea. I wasn't around for it. You probably weren't around for it. Maybe you had family that was in it and explained some of the stuff. But from what I've heard, like, a lot of them aren't talking about it because it was so bad. And I loved getting her perspective of it because we got it from the nurse's side. So we didn't really see a whole lot of like the war parts of it, but we saw the after effects of that. The babies and women, the babies and women and children that were casualties of this war. And I don't know how accurate any of this stuff is at all. No idea. I imagine that Kristen Hanna did her research and is at least fairly accurate with what happened, but I have no idea. But if most of it is true, then the trauma that these people witnessed and came back from. I was really surprised though that their tours were only a year long, and then they could decide if they wanted to re up or not, because I feel like tours are a little bit longer. Like, when you sign up to go, it's at least a couple of years. I thought. Now, I'm not in the military world. I don't know anything about it other than what I've heard from other people. And so I don't know. But I was really surprised about that.
And so now where we are in the story is she just came home and it is brutal. Nobody respects the military. They don't even respect her as a nurse over there because they don't agree with the war. They don't care. They are just being horrible, horrible people. And we just started with this part of the book. So I'm really interested to see just how bad it gets. I imagine it's going to get pretty brutal. So I'm going to brace myself for that. I will definitely be finishing this in the next few days because I think I have like 5 days left on my Libby borrow. So definitely going to be getting on top of it. And plus, Kristen Hanna does a pretty good job of the writing. So it's super easy to read, even though it's kind of like old timey ish. I mean, it's not too old timey, but it's a little bit more old timey than like modern, you know? All right, so I finished the women, and I have mixed opinions on the women. I liked the ending. I love how it ended. But there's a part of the story about 75% of the way through, maybe 80% of the way through, where I'm just like, I am so annoyed with you. And it's not even because of the PTSD symptoms, it's not because of her super negative reactions to the PTSD. It is the fact that we are repeating the same mistakes that we already did and we didn't learn our lesson. And everyone in her life is telling her, don't do it. And she does it anyways. And I'm just like, I'm literally in my car, like, what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous. And so, really didn't like that part. And that's not like a, can't really fault the book for having choices that I don't agree with. I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed listening to this. I was like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Why? And I will talk about it more in depth here in a second because I want to talk about it. But I want to finish being sort of non spoilery. Other than that, loved it. I thought it was really good. I was expecting to be more emotional and more heartfelt and really get me in my feels, but it didn't. So I don't know if I just didn't connect with that one or what, or if other people's thoughts on what makes them emotional is different from mine. I don't know. But I wasn't feeling it like everybody else was. It was good. I liked all the war stuff. I liked seeing her deal with the PTSD and dealing with coming home and everyone being horrible. Her family was horrible too. Like, horrible. Like, they're super excited about military, but not when it's their own kid. Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, they got on my nerves. They got on my nerves too. Like, so much. But I really liked her progression of coming home and figuring herself out and the struggles that she dealt with. Like, I think that those were very real and probably stories that actually happened to people. I love that. That was great. Loved exploring that. It's just this one part. It was stupid and I hated it. Oh, but other than that, I liked it well enough. It was just that part, just that one little part that I didn't like. And I am going to be spoiler now, so I will keep my hand up until I'm done being spoilery, and then you can either click off completely or you can forward ahead until my hand's gone. But so listen, in the war, she meets this dude. What was his name? I think his name was James, and he's married, and she likes him, but she's not going to be with him because he's married, right? Well, then he gets flown away. He's injured, so he's leaving. Well, then we get Rye, who is someone that we knew from back home. And he is engaged. And she knows he's engaged. And then he comes to her and says, I'm not engaged. I promise you I'm not engaged. And she's with him and she falls in love with him. And she even like leaves and goes home and loves him. And then finds out that he dies, right? Well, then she even goes to his dad and talks to his dad about doing a party for him. And that's when she found out that he died, right? Well, we find out a couple of years later that he was actually a prisoner of war. And so he comes back to life, right? So he comes back And she is engaged. She is getting married in 2 days. She goes to the plane to see him. And when he gets off the plane, he goes and he kisses his wife and kisses his little girl. Because you know what? He wasn't engaged, he was married. He was full on married. And he lied to her, completely lied to her. And so she is like heartbroken and devastated, which is fair. Fair. I'll give that to you. But then she sees him and his wife at the beach and she stalks him back to his home, right? Well, then he comes to her house because he still loves her and wants to be with her, yada, yada, yada. She gets with him and he's like, I'm going to leave my wife. I'm going to leave my wife. We're divorcing, yada, yada, yada. No, they're not. In fact, she's pregnant with his baby and she's in the middle of, like, she's getting ready to have the baby. Like, he's not changed. He's lying to you. And oh, I was so mad. I was so mad at her. Like, and all her friends, because they knew that he was married. And they were like, leave him alone. He's a liar. You deserve better. Yada, yada, yada. Move on. And she doesn't. Doesn't move on. Until she, like, absolutely has to because because his wife's having the baby. That's what causes her to move on. Not the fact that he's married and he already lied to you once about being married. Like, we're making the same mistake. Making the same mistake. Like, what are we doing? And so that was super annoying, super annoying. And then I was also a little bit annoyed because of the fact that, so Ryan was a prisoner of war. Okay, we thought he was dead. All right, fine. Well, then that stupid James dude, we thought he died too, but no, he comes and he sees her at the end of the story. How many more are we gonna have come back from life, come back from death? Like that was the other thing that was like mildly annoying to me. Not as much as stupid Ryan lying to her, but I don't know. It just doesn't hit as much when we have multiple people coming back from the death, you know? Like, it's like the resurrection trope. Like, why are we killing them if you're just going to bring them back? I don't know. So that's super annoying. But, anyways, I am done ranting about all of the things that have annoyed me. I don't have a clue what book I'm going to read next. No idea. I guess we will both find out in the next clip. All right, so, funny story. I was listening to the video for what Michaela reads this morning, and she was talking about these different Christmas thrillers or whatever. Well, there was this book that sounded pretty good because it had magicians in it. It's called Everybody This Christmas Has a Secret, and I guess this dude is backstage of this show that's being put on, and then I guess there's a murder and he's trying to figure it out. Well, I was trying to like save it on my Hoopla app, accidentally borrowed it. So, surprise, this is what we're going to be reading next for this vlog. It was not my intention to read it. I was going to wait because I had plans for those borrows because you only get 4 a month. And I already used one. So thankfully, I only had 2 more planned reads, but who knows what I needed that other one for, so bit of a bummer, but it's a 5-hour audiobook, so it's going to be one that I can get in and finish pretty quickly. Hopefully it's interesting. I mean, it sounds pretty interesting. I have no idea. Let me check the blurb and I will give you a more thorough description. Okay, so I was correct. We are following this dude who was at this show and there was a murder, and now he's going to try and figure out the clues. The problem is that all of the suspects are tricksters of some sort. The magician or the hypnotist or the assistant or, things like that. So he's got to figure it out. And I love this little tagline. And it says, if I can see through their illusions, I know I can solve it. After all, a good murder is just like a magic trick, isn't it? So hopefully this is good. It sounds like it's going to be a quick, easy read. May not be too serious. I mean, the way the blurb is kind of written, it doesn't sound like it's taking itself too serious. because it says, where's it at? A murder committed without setting foot inside the room where it happens, and an advent calendar because it's Christmas. So it doesn't sound like it's taking itself too seriously. So hopefully it's just a good time. But I'll keep you updated. Okay, so we're going to ignore the fact that I look rough. I just got out of the shower. All I do is blow dry my hair because I don't feel like straightening it tonight. So I'm going to do that in the morning. But I really want to read. So I wanted to jump on here and tell you about this book before I get started. But so I actually joined a book club, and I really think this one's actually going to stick because I follow Beth Morvant. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Follow her on YouTube, and she is doing a book club. She's been doing a book club, but the book club is kind of like shifting into a new direction, and so they're on Discord. And she said anyone could join, so I joined. So I will leave her announcement video below so that you can check it out if you want to. But the first book in December is going to be the Thursday Murder Club. So what they're planning on doing is they're planning on reading the book, and then they're going to watch the movie at the same time. So we're going to discuss book and movie, which is fantastic. It's something I've been doing on my channel anyways. So why not do it with more people and actually have a book club? So I'm super excited. I have no idea what this is about. All I know is that you've got some grandma aged ladies they meet once a week for jigsaws, I think is what it said. And then there ends up being like a body. And so they decide to take it on and try to like solve it themselves. Sorry if you lost audio. I forget that when I talk with my hands that I lose the audio. So sorry about that. But so yeah, they are deciding that they're gonna attempt to solve this murder. I have no idea. But it sounds like it's gonna be like a fun time. Like it's not gonna be too serious. It's just gonna be a good time. So I'm here for it. I'm actually really here for it just because I get to be a part of a book club. Like I am so excited. If you're new here, I try to join a book club at work, and you know what? We didn't even get through a whole book and they disbanded because we were doing like 3 chapters every month, and then we'd come back and discuss. We met 3 times and we disbanded because nobody was showing up. It was just me and the other lady that was hosting it. So we disbanded. Well, then I had a friend at work who was in a book club, and I'm like, I want to be in a book club. But then I couldn't make the meeting that I was invited to, and I haven't heard nothing since. And I even reached out and asked about it again, and I didn't get nothing. So here we go. I get to be part of a book club, and we're going to read some things that are way outside of my comfort zone. Like we're going to do this one. We're going to do The Princess Bride, which I've seen the movie, but I don't know how I feel about the book. And then we're going to do Pride and Prejudice, which I have a long history of Pride and Prejudice. And then we're going to do not The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, the first one, which I've tried that one too, and I have a long history with that one too. But those are stories for another day. But yeah, I'm going to read some of this because I borrowed this from the library, hence the little receipt that keeps slapping. But I only have 2 weeks to read this, and I suck at reading physical reads. So I'm going to have to get started. So I am going to go do that. Okay, so I apologize for the angle. I feel a little bit close to the camera, but I'm waiting on my brother. So it is what it is right now. I've been reading The Thursday Murder Club. I trust no one. No one. The way that it's written, everyone seems suspicious. I don't even know what's happening. Like, I get the basic plot, but I know that there are things happening that I don't know yet that's going to be revealed later, and everyone has a secret, is how it feels. I trust no one. Like, I don't even trust our investigators at all. At all. Like, they're very manipulative, they're very conniving. Like, there's something more happening here. I'm having a great time though. I typically don't like stories with like super older characters just because I don't really relate a whole lot. But I really like them so far. They're very funny. I like their interactions. I love the voice of the narration within the story. Really like that so far. I'm having a good time. I don't know if I said that I'm like 100 pages in. So making good progress, and it's a physical read. So that's impressive because I never read physical books because it takes me forever. But I'm 100 pages in, and I've only had it less than a week. But so yeah, I'm really liking Thursday Murder Club. I'm really excited for the book club portion. I have been active on
I have been active on Discord so far, but not very many people have read it yet. So there's not a whole lot of back and forth yet, but we're still early in the month. Like, it's early December, so we got plenty of time. I'm just so excited for all of them to like start talking about it. I've also been reading Everybody This Christmas Has a Secret or something, or Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret. That's the one that I didn't mean to borrow, but I borrowed, and I'm having a good time with it. So I don't know how much I told you about the plot before. So with that one, we are following this detective who he is investigating a murder. He knows a girl who was at home and her boyfriend, fiance, whatever, was murdered while they were sleeping. And she's covered in blood and all kinds of stuff and like no idea what happened. So he's investigating that to try and like help her. And he's talking to all these magicians and stuff. And that's where I'm at so far. But apparently, this is like book three because he keeps referencing the fact that he's done this before and this is his like third one or whatever. And he keeps breaking the fourth wall, which is so interesting because he's like, this is a Christmas special, so we know that it will be shorter and the Christmas will be involved or whatever, just like making references to the fact that it's Christmas. And then he also talks about how there was like this lift thing that he was noticing, and he's like, I'm gonna tell you now, I'm gonna hang off of that later, like that kind of thing. So it's really interesting. I have no idea what's happening. It's really short, so it'll be a very quick read. I'm already 2 hours in, so we'll see.
Oh my gosh, guys, it is so late. I have been working on this video that I have trying to come out tomorrow for so long. This video took so long to edit, but I'm super excited about it. It is a Harry Potter 1-star review video, which at this point you'll have already seen because that video comes out tomorrow. It's actually rendering in the background, so I figured I'd update you guys while it's rendering before I can go to bed. But so I finished the Christmas book that I was reading. What was it called? Everybody This Christmas Has a Secret, something like that. It was a good time. I loved the narration style. I love the author having his character break the fourth wall because so the character talks a lot about writing his own stories about his adventures and solving mysteries, right? Well, he talks to the reader. He even calls out like if you're listening to this on audio, he's like you may not have the full cast because it's a Christmas special and Christmas specials don't get the full cast. And so he like does that kind of thing quite a bit. And it's so funny. And I'm so here for it. And I was so like invested in him being like the narrator that when we actually got to the end of the book and it was talking about like the acknowledgments from the actual author, I thought it was him in the book. So I didn't know because he was breaking the fourth wall the entire time. So I thought maybe he was like reading that off of from his own book. No, it was the actual author. But it was a good time. I liked the mystery of it. I liked the way that the murder happened. I really enjoyed piecing all that together. I wish it was a little bit longer. I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if things were a little bit more drag out because I feel like we went through things kind of quickly, which was kind of the whole point. One of the rules for Christmas special is that it has to go quick. So that was also another thing. He wrote out at the end of the story rules for a Christmas special. And it has to like start at this time and be done by this time unless it's a serial killer and you're doing like a countdown to Christmas. Like that kind of thing. Too funny. I loved it. I don't know that I will read the others because he's got two others. He's got two full novels, and then he's got this one because it's the Christmas special, right? I enjoyed it, but I don't know that I enjoyed it enough to go seeking out the first two. We might, but I don't know. There's just so many books to read and so many big fantasy stories that I'm trying to read and a lot of thrillers that I'm trying to get to that if it's like middle of the road, then I don't want to like prioritize it over other things. I would rather get to things that I'm loving because I'm very like average about most things, and then there are like a few things that I'm like love. Like if I actually gave star ratings,
I don't know that I would have given like 5 stars much this year. Maybe 10 if I'm being generous. We'll see. I don't know. But I can only think of like a handful of things. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the best thing ever. Maybe a lot of like fours, 4.5 maybe, but I don't know about fives. So, and I think that I want to like get to more of those books that I can really love. And so we'll see. I don't have any updates for the Thursday Murder Club. I've been working on editing this video and I've been gone all weekend. It's been a long weekend. I went and hung out with the boyfriend on Saturday, and then I did a craft party with some friends after church on Sunday, and that took up all of my day. I think it was like 5 o'clock when I got home yesterday, and hanging out with the boyfriend on Saturday. I was gone all day, all day. Because I only see him once a week, so I like to make the most of it. And so that took a lot of editing time away from me, and so I've been like really trying to edit. So I haven't read much yet, but I am off Wednesday. So hopefully I'll get some more reading done. I also have like a short video to edit on Friday. I got to film it first. So I'm going to film it tomorrow, and then it shouldn't take me very long to edit that one. That might be a 10-15 minute video. So it shouldn't be too bad. So I should have some more time to read. I'm liking it so far, but no new updates. Okay, so I haven't updated on the Thursday Murder Club in I don't even know how long. Probably like 3 or 4 clips, um, because I haven't been reading it a ton. I think there was like a week and a half there where I didn't read it at all, and it's been a very slow read. Mostly because I just don't read physical books very fast. Like that's the big problem. I am liking it. I am the oddball out though because it seems like in the Discord where we have our book club, everyone else is just like, this is so boring. And I'm having a great time with it. I think that the characters we're supposed to underestimate them, and they're pulling so many strings and super, super capable of doing stuff. And it's super interesting to watch how it all plays out because they have secrets. They have things that they're hiding, and we know that they're hiding them. And I'm waiting to figure out exactly how involved they are in stuff because they have secrets and I want to know these secrets. And so I'm super excited about it. I like how our characters are like pulling strings on the police and they're investigating everything. They're doing a much better job than the police are doing. And I really like that. I really like the fact that we're coming into this we're supposed to underestimate our characters. The only thing I don't like is that it's really easy to know that we're supposed to underestimate them, but we don't underestimate them. We know that they know a whole lot more than they're giving up, and they're a lot more capable. And so it's kind of hard to underestimate them at this point. And so I don't know author's intent on how much we're supposed to underestimate them, but I no longer underestimate them. I think they are heavily, heavily involved in stuff. But I'm also reading Last Army of Kings, and this is a reread. I think I've already talked about it in this vlog. I apologize if I have not. But I have about 10 hours left of the audiobook, and I'm having the greatest time. I love this so much. I love Logan. Logan is the best. Logan is so funny. Um, he there's a quote that I'll share with you. It's just like to display his humor, but it doesn't like spoil anything. So he ends up fighting these dudes by himself and he kills them, and then he comes back to like his team that he's working with at the moment. It's a very different team, so we don't know any of these people, and so he's working with these people, and they're like, how are we supposed to trust that you actually killed them and you didn't conspire with them to trap us? And he's like, okay, I figured that you would ask that question, so here you go, here's your proof. So he hands them this bag and they open it, and it's thumbs from all the people he just killed. And Logan's like, you can keep those. I'm missing a finger, but I have all the thumbs I need. And I'm just like, that's so funny. Like, I cracked up. Like, and I'm probably the oddball out on this too, but I find it to be so funny.
And I love how he's always like, man, I don't get anything that I want. It'd be nice to finally have something go my way. And so it just cracks me up so much. I just love it so much. How many times can I say that, huh? But anyways, so I'm having the best time. I love Joe Abercrombie's writing. I love that I can see all the strings being pulled because it's a reread. Everything was so subtle that I completely missed everything the last time. But on reread, I can totally see the strings being pulled, but it's still super subtle. Like I can see it just because I'm looking for it and I know that it's there and I know what these things mean, but it's still super subtle. And I just love it. It's like finding all these little Easter eggs. And I'm excited to finish. I can't wait to see everything else later in the series because The Heroes is coming up in a couple of books and it's my favorite. And then I've got Age of Madness, which was so much fun. Like, it's the best. It's my favorite. If I had to choose between like First Law and Age of Madness, I would go Age of Madness, which is his second series in this world. So I can't wait to get there. And I really love seeing all of like the names in this first set and how they play and how they come back in later generations, like with these same characters in later books or with like their children or like their relatives and things like that. And I can make more of those connections on reread. So it's been a great time. I have no idea when I will update you again. Hopefully, it won't be too long. Okay, so it's been forever since I have updated you on anything. So I don't even know where we're at. But I think I need to give you final thoughts on Thursday Murder Club and update you on Last Argument of Kings, which I am 2 hours away from finishing. So we're almost done. So, Thursday Murder Club. I was really liking it up until the end. Um, it was a really good story. I liked the voice of everything. I was really interested in. There's a couple of characters who seem like masterminds and who seem like they know more than they're letting on, and they have these really weird connections with people that you don't feel like they really should have connections with, and they can get favors done. And so I was really expecting more out of them than I got. And so I didn't really like the ending and how it all tied up because of that. But I was enjoying the mystery of them and their past and who they were and what they were doing, all of those things. I just didn't like the ending. So it's fine. Not a big deal. Everyone in book club hated it though. I don't know that anyone in book club liked it. Even the ones who had originally read it before and liked it, even on reread, they didn't like it as much. So I'm one of the few who like it, apparently. Or, well, I'm sure there are more. I just don't know who they are. But it was fine. I definitely will not be continuing on, but not too bad. Not like regretting kind of reading it. So, not too bad. But Last Argument of Kings, listen, me and Last Argument of Kings have had a lot of time together the last couple of days because as I'm filming this, it is New Year's Eve. And so I have to finish it today. Like that is like the goal. And so I've been like binging it the last couple of days. And I am a little bit tired of binging it because where I'm on a time constraint, I can't alternate my other books. So I'm getting like bored and I'm like zoning out and like not really paying attention. Like we had this whole like battle and some people died. I missed all of that because I just was not paying that good of attention. Thankfully, it's a reread, so it's not like I had to pay attention because I know who dies and like the outcomes of those things. Like I knew that going in, so it's not like the biggest deal ever. But it's been a struggle. I definitely am not one to like binge read stuff because it just doesn't work for me. And so we were cleaning a whole lot yesterday, like cleaning the ceiling fans, kind of cleaning. Like we were deep cleaning yesterday, and I was listening to it, and it was good. Like it's just so long. And I think that's just because I'm having to like read it really quickly and like kind of binge it, and I'm just not a binger. So that's been the problem. But I got 2 hours left, and so I should be fine to finish it today. I've got like a 50-minute drive, so it'll be there and back, so I should be just fine to get it done today, which is great. But I am going to go ahead and finish the clip here because this vlog has been going forever. Like forever, forever. So probably all of December. So it definitely needs to be ending. Especially because I'm reading some other books, and so like my next vlog has already started. So that's the problem. So I got to get this one finished. But before we go, I did buy some books and had a book for Christmas. So one of the first ones that I bought was Dead House Gates. This is book 2 to Gardens of the Moon, which I'm hoping this will be a little bit easier to read if I do it physically, which it's mass market paperback, so it's not gigantic. But this came in. I don't know when I will read it. I don't have any like concrete plans of when I'm going to read it, but it's definitely on the list to read, especially because I need to reread Gardens of the Moon. So who knows? But I also have this one. I bought this one Monday, the other day, at the bookstore because I can't go into Barnes and Noble with a friend who's buying 4 books and me not buying anything. I just can't do that. So I got Lights Out. This is a dark romance, and it has been on my list for a while. I really love this cover. This cover just like draws me in. So excited to read this. I have this on audio. Like, not like have it, but I'm on the list for it on Libby, but I'm like 400th in line. So maybe if I get the physical, I might get it read a little bit faster, but we'll see. But the biggest thing that I got for Christmas, I got it from a friend. And ironically, she bought me the same book last year, but it wasn't like this version. This one is a special edition to the deal. And oh my gosh, you cannot see that very well. Maybe it's a little bit better. It's like silver and pink, and the end pages are, oh, there we go. See, they've got Garrett and Hannah on them because those are the 2 main characters. And the back of it is like a playbook, and you probably can't see that very well because of my stupid lighting. But yeah, so it's a playbook. Yeah, that looks absolutely terrible. So sorry about that. But it's a special edition, and it even has illustrations. That's the word. It has illustrations in it, and so it looks really, really nice. Let's see. Let's find a first one so it's not like too spoilery. I think that might have been the first one. Now here we go. Here's one. Hang on. See how pretty? So pretty. I'm super excited to have it. And it was like the hockey romance that started my love for hockey romances. So it was a super thoughtful gift. Absolutely love that. It was super kind. But yeah, so that's the end of the vlog. Did you have a good time? I don't even know what we talked about in this video. I'll find out when on editing though. So okay, so we're back. Was not super thrilled with how I had left that description of my thoughts of the last argument of kings. So we're back, and I'm going to give a little bit better of an explanation of my thoughts because that wasn't anything at all. So I just got back from my New Year's activities, went and hung out with the boyfriend, and I finished last argument of kings right on time, like right at 12 o'clock. I finished. So that was stressful because I was really like, I got to get it done. I mean, I don't really have to get it done. I mean, it's not like anyone's going to know, and it's not like it's a big deal if I don't get it done. It's just an arbitrary deadline that I gave to myself, you know. But I did it. So, yay me. But my thoughts. So, this is the 3rd book of a series that I love. The 2nd book is still my favorite. I still really like the 2nd one better. I don't know if I just said that. If I did, and I look really confused for no reason, then I apologize. But in my head, I thought I said the 3rd one was my favorite, but the 2nd one is my favorite. It's after midnight, so I'm a little bit tired. Okay, so apologies. But I really do like the 3rd one and how all of the political stuff plays out. Like that's the best part of the 3rd one is its ending. We've got a battle that plays out, but it happens 3-4 hours before the ending of the book. So, like, the battle itself isn't even the main point of the story. Like, that's not what we're building to this entire time. I mean, we are, but it's not even the main conclusion. Like, we have 2 or 3 hours of everything kind of like settling down, you know? So, like, that's the part that we're building towards is this new normal, right? And how everything kind of like comes together and unfolds is fantastic. Like, it's really great. We have these players that have been like pawns in the chessboard are like taking more power and are using that power against other people. And it's very interesting. Even one of the characters is like, we have it done to us, and then we do it to other people, and then we order other people to do it. And that's just how like the power comes, you know? And as you get more power, then you kind of go up to the next step, you know? So when you're a pawn, things happen to you, but then you start getting to do it to other people. And then as you get more power, now you're ordering other people to do it. And one of the characters even comments on that. The characters comment a lot in the back half of that about power and how they can use their power to do pretty much anything. And you just got to know the right leverages, you know? Like, we've got a player towards the end who discovers something and immediately is like, okay, I can leverage this. And in seconds, he's leveraged it like quick. So we see a lot of that happening. We see a lot of the puppeteering and like who is pulling all the strings, and it's so much fun. Like, Joe Abercrombie did a really good job of the political intrigue and the pieces that we didn't even know were things. Like, the first time I read this, when I got the reveals, I was like, that was this the whole time? Like, what? So shocked. So Joe Abercrombie does a really good job of that. I also really love the ending. I was so shocked at the ending because, I mean, it ends on a cliffhanger, like, big cliffhanger. And it's great. Like, it's a great ending. I love an ending that is like bold, you know? And this is a bold ending. It's an ending where you're not really sure like what ends up happening, but it also, ironically enough, circles back to the beginning of where we started with everything. So that's super cool for that character. Um, we've got everyone else who's kind of like settling into their new roles and the new normal and like what that looks like. Not a lot of happy endings. I mean, there's a chapter that's labeled not what you wanted, and that's pretty telling because everyone gets kind of like a crazy ending, you know? Hmm. I just had a thought that when I first read this, I thought there was one character that I remember dying, but I don't remember him dying when I just read it. And it wasn't during the part where I was unsure about everything, because this part happened in the last 30 minutes. Like we just saw him. And it wasn't like a trick or anything. I think I misremembered. Hmm. See, this is why we reread, because we don't know what we know, okay? We don't remember things correctly. This is why you can't trust things. So, I'll have to go back and look at that because I know that I'm right now that I'm wrong from before, but I don't know. Weird. Anywho, I like it. I also really like seeing, sorry, I was getting like increasingly close to the camera. I also really like how we can see the names popping up in this story that are like throwaway characters or whatever. They're just sort of like passing glances, passing thoughts or whatever, and they come to play later. So that's a lot of fun because you're like, oh, I now remember this. And like, okay, so in the Age of Madness trilogy, which is after the standalones, you got this second set of trilogies. There's a character who is really having to deal with the fact that an ancestor of theirs was a traitor. You see that in this series. You see that in this first trilogy of that ancestor being a traitor. And you see it generations later when this kid is still having to deal with the fact that his ancestor is a traitor. And so that's pretty cool to see all of that kind of like come back to play. And it's super interesting how other characters are like their character arcs and then how we see them later. Like it's super interesting to know like how we end up at the end of it, everything, and so that's really interesting. But like again, I think a lot of that is stuff that it's on reread. So you don't appreciate those things until the reread because like you don't know about them. So I think that's all. I think that that's a much better explanation of my thoughts and feelings going into this. I am gonna do a spoiler filled video on this trilogy. So I'll have a lot more thoughts and a lot more things to say in that because I'll be deep diving into these first three that I've been reading. So I'll be able to give you like actual examples of things that I'm looking for and like that I loved and things like that. So if you're interested in more thoughts, be on the lookout for that. I think that will come out mid-January, maybe, probably the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. But anyways, let me know what books you've been reading. Did you finish all the books you were hoping to read at the end of the year? I think I'm 2 books short. I was supposed to read 60 and I think I'm at 58. So, oh well. Let me know in the comments what all you've been reading and I will see you in the next one.